Well, I thought I would do a video based on basically what I've been using on Project Beatrix and the products that work for me. And I thought that it would be a really good idea to share these products with you because, in truth, I think I've only used a box of about 10 to 12 resources which are down here. And these resources have basically got the car to where she is now, and she's getting better and better every couple of days. So we'll start off with the first one, and in no random order, no particular order anyway. We have this. Now, to be honest with you, WD-40 has been the go-to product for many, many years, and the truth is, this is a product that I have used a lot. I like the Smart Straw because you do have a good control and accuracy of where this fluid is going, and therefore you don't use it as quickly. I mean, this, 450 ml can, this has lasted me at least a year, and there's still dregs of it left. The truth is, it is a water displacer. It is not very good as a penetrating fluid. It is an all-purpose spray, but I would certainly not use it for any area that you don't want to get messy. For instance, do not use it in door locks or bonnet locks or boot locks, whatever lock. Don't use it in any form of a lock because this is oil based and it will leave an oily residue. Okay, never use it on house locks. You know, this sort of product has been used by a lot of people thinking it's an all go-to multi-purpose product. It's not. Can you clean your car with it? Yeah, but it's going to leave an oily stain on your paintwork after a while because it's oily. Dirt is going to stick to it. So generally, this is not the product that I use a fair amount. I only use it because I've got it. But once this runs out, I may get another can. It's good to have around. It is a water displacer, and that's the reason that it exists today. But because of very good marketing, they say that you can, oh, let's have a look. Remove dirt from gears, cables, and metal frames. Removing dirt really isn't this thing's thing. Lubricates and protects power tools. It does do that. To be fair, this will be good for lubricating threads. If you've got like a trailing arm bush tool with a big thread where you've got to wind in to push the bush out, that needs lubrication. You can use engine oil. You can use this. Either way. And then it removes dirt, oil and dust. Do not spray on tyres and brakes, obviously. Lubricates and protects from rust. I'm not quite sure about its rust protecting properties. I mean, it's got a picture of some head shears here. Not so sure. I really don't think it's as good a product as it used to be, and there are certainly better products out there. I think it's just because it's widely available that people still buy it. Now, the next product I use is the one I use in the replacement of WD-40, where I used to use WD-40 because it was available. I didn't know that much about how good it was really in comparison with other products. But then I've tried other products. And ironically, I like this more. Now, this is pretty interesting because these two products are made by the same company. So they're not pitting them against each other. They're two different products for two different purposes. But strangely enough, I find that this is way more versatile, GT85, than WD-40. And the reason for that is, when you lubricate things, it doesn't leave an oily residue. It actually dries dry. It leaves a little PTFE Teflon, a little Teflon lubrication on the surface. It dries and it doesn't stick. It's not an oily residue. It's a dry PTFE finish, and that's what you want. It's great for locks. It's great for doors. I say this has been my go-to product with Beatrix so far. The window regulators. Use it on the window regulator sliders, on the gear mechanism, on the door locks, on the door handle assemblies. This has been used almost everywhere. You can use it as a cleaner because, as I say, it doesn't leave an oily residue. It smells beautiful. WD-40 has its own unique smell, which is quite nice, but I actually prefer this smell. It's absolutely gorgeous. When you get in the car and you've sprayed it in your locks, it's beautiful, beautiful. The only thing I would say that this isn't so good at is lubricating, well, basically lubricating rusty threads and using it as a penetrating oil. It can't really do that. You can probably do smaller stuff, really small nuts that aren't so rusted and you just want to lubricate them up, but it's not really a penetrating fluid. I mean, to be honest with you, it can drive out moisture. It can act as a degreaser in some respects, as a cleaner. It's very, 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 very versatile, this thing, and that's why I love it. But if you've got some bolts that you need unseizing, this is no good. This is slightly better. This is what I use. Now, Plus Gas, for me, is the go-to. I know there's a few other products on the market. I think Bulldog BDX, I think that's getting promoted quite a lot these days. I think for what you're paying, Bulldog BDX at £12 a can, and you can only buy them from the manufacturer at this point in time, or a few other outlets. That's expensive. For that size of can, for £12, I'm sorry, I don't care how good it is, that is too expensive. Plus Gas, I can buy 2 cans of that for £12, and I've been using this for years, and I've never had any issues. It does what it says on the tin. It's a penetrating fluid, and it will loosen rusted parts, really rusted bolts and threads. It will really get in there, and it doesn't leave any residue whatsoever. Apparently it does protect from rust and corrosion and acts against moisture. I think they're all promoted in the same way, but this is my rust penetrant. This is what gets into those threads, like exhaust manifold bolts, exhaust studs, the sort of stuff that always rusts really badly. And yeah, I've got a lot in this can, as you can see by the cap. It's absolutely filthy. This is what I use in those filthy jobs and nasty jobs, and it's my go-to product. So really, in the hierarchy of things, in terms of what I use them, this is not very good. And I'll have one around, because it's always useful to have one around. Water displacer. This is a water displacer, and I will use it more often. And I've bought these in bulk. I think I bought 12 of these in a box for £30, and it works out a lot more cheaper because it's my go-to product. This, I buy these in packs of 2 because they're £12-13, and it works out okay. I don't use a great deal of this, but when I need it, I need it. Right, next one. Right, next product. Silicone lubricant. Any brand will do, although Napa these days, they've got some really cheap products. Brake cleaner, silicone cleaner, all sorts of stuff. This is their silicone lubricant, and it's really good stuff. I bought a box of 6 of these for £18, which works out £3 a can. That's cheaper than anywhere else. So I'd recommend buying a box of 6 of these, because you're going to need them. Excuse me, my breakfast has just come up. Now, silicone lubricant is an all-purpose thing. It's great for rubbers. It's great for seals. It really does concentrate any sort of... well, basically, it moisturizes everything you need when it comes to rubber and plastics. And I've never known it to be sprayed on a particular rubber or plastic and a reaction takes place and it looks dreadful and something goes wrong. I've never known that. I could use that on the dashboard, and that dashboard is pretty rubbish plastic, and I know it wouldn't cause a problem. Obviously, testing an inconspicuous area first just to see, but honestly, I've never known that. And this is really nice stuff. This is what I've used as well for the windows. Window runners, spray all on inside the runners, and honestly, it slips like anything. If you want something to slip, like you're trying to, I don't know, put a grommet into the car for whatever reason, a missing grommet, and it's really hard because it's brand new, get that on it and it will just slip straight in. It is a go-to product. It's always in my box. The next one, without its cap, because I lost the cap, as you can see, it's well used, not much in that. Electrical contact cleaner. Okay, again, it doesn't matter what brand. I bought 6 of these for about £18, so about £3 a can. It is an all-purpose product. Now, this is the hierarchy of things. I'm going to show a few products in a system just like the WD-40 GTH5 and Plus gas. This is for electrical contacts, realistically, and light cleaning, because it's like a rubbing alcohol. It's very light. It will dry very quickly. It will leave little residue. It will be a nice alcoholic smell, and it will clean electrics, and it will clean the small stuff without damage to plastics, because there's not much alcohol in this. It's just a rubbing alcohol. I would say apply sparingly. I was going to say liberally. Apply sparingly to wherever you go, okay? Because it is alcohol, and we don't want adverse effects on plastics. So be very careful if you're doing this around a dashboard. But I would suspect that this is not harmful in any way. In fact, this was the product I used to get rid of that nasty sticker on the dashboard. Unfortunately, what this did was take off just a little bit of the surface of the dashboard, and I'm going to sort that out sooner or later. I'm probably going to get a sticker made, a channel sticker, and put it slap bang on the dashboard to cover one, that little patch, and two, the fact someone drilled 2 freaking holes in the dashboard. So that's a good product to use, and it's regularly used, even for general purpose degreasing. It's really good stuff. Just use it appropriately. I'm going to put that there, because the next one is this brake cleaner. Now, I can't show you the can. I've got a big bottle, and I'll just put it in here. I'd recommend you get a brake cleaner sprayer. Now, I've got a Worth. Now, this is the more expensive brand. There are cheaper ones, but I'm not quite sure if the seals would last. Whereas you can actually get seal kits for these for about £4 or £5, and you can actually repair the seals. If you're losing pressure, it's not getting up to pressure. See, that's still pressurizing, which is great. And I've had this a few years, and they all end up looking dirty, because that's the element of the dirt that you're going to be working with. Brake cleaner, it's not just for brakes. It is a multi-purpose product. You can use it around the engine to degrease, and that's what I do a lot. Areas around the bottom of the engine and gearbox where it gets all greasy and gunky, like the engine was on my car. Now it looks really clean and tidy underneath, and that is because of these products, okay? I've used mainly this. Now, this is not strong enough. This is for electrical stuff, tiny little jobs, okay? This is general. This is much stronger. This has a much more bigger alcohol content than this. It's as simple as that, and it can take off a lot more grime quickly, and then it just dissipates. That's what I use it for. Brakes, suspension, general degreasing underneath the car, okay? Particularly around the engine, bottom of the engine, get all that grease and sludge off. Obviously, I will use degreaser, and that's what I'm going to come to soon. But degreaser is just for like a brush on and then a wash off. So any areas that you don't mind sticking a hose in to wash it off, use the degreaser. If you're a bit funny about water being in that area because of the amount of electrics, use brake cleaner instead, because it will dissolve the grease. You can wipe it away with a wet wipe or a towel, and it won't leave a residue. It's as simple as that. So if you're scared about the amount of water in an area and you don't want to use degreaser to brush off and hose off, use a brake cleaner. Now, the next one in this hierarchy, as some of you may have guessed, carb cleaner. Carb cleaner is more concentrated than brake cleaner. So we've got this, then this, then this. That's the hierarchy. The alcohol content has gone through the roof, okay? This stuff will damage plastics. It will damage, it can damage wiring. I've seen it strip. You got your insulation on the wires, the colour insulation. Let's say you've got a blue wire and a red wire. This will take the colour of the insulation away to the point where it's just a grey bit of insulation. Trust me, this stuff really does strip. I'd recommend that you only use this on engines, certain intake manifolds. I did not want to use this on the plastic intake manifold in both the Rover and the Focus because it's too strong, and basically there is a film on the inside of those intake manifolds. You are not meant to use this. I would recommend you don't even use brake cleaner. Use this. Okay, use that for plastic intake manifolds if you're cleaning it on the inside. This is for engines. It is being used to clean the cylinder head, the bottom of the sump out. It's been used for a lot. These are expensive, and I've bought 6 of these for about 18-19 pounds. It works out really cheap. But if you buy them as a single can, STP is the best. You're looking at about £6 a can. That's expensive. So use it wisely. If you can achieve the job by degreasing and a bit of a hose off, use the degreaser because it's cheaper. Now, next one is a degreaser, which is this. Now, I do have some higher strength stuff, but I very rarely used it on Beatrix. Engine and machine cleaner. Now, you can buy a bottle of this on eBay for about just over £10 if you're lucky. Don't go to the shops, they'll charge you about £14 for it. There's a lot of fluid in it, and I think I've used about half of it from what it feels, and it's a multi-purpose product, and I'll buy more of this. It is great to just spray on, brush off and hose off. Or just, as I say, if you've got one of those spray bottles like I've got, use this. As I say, just spray the water on it, it will run off. This foams up really nicely. Just get a brush and agitate. And it is capable of taking a lot of grime off. I would suggest if the grime is really, really bad, going with this or this first, or even this. Depends how big the grime is. The thing is, I know by looking at a job, whether it's underneath the engine where it's all gunked up and oily, or whether it's around the camshaft covers, I know to judge which of these or combination do I need to use. For instance, if it's grime around spark plugs, you're not going to use this because you're going to have to hose it off. And you don't want water around the spark plugs. You're going to have to use one of these. So this is a kind of the area, and you don't want to use that because if it's a plastic rocker cover, it's going to damage the plastic. If it's aluminium rocker cover like the K series, fine, use this. It's not going to damage it. So it's all about how to use these appropriately and when to use them. And I would massively state that there is a right and a wrong way of doing this, and you can go very wrong by using that near plastics. It will destroy plastics. And using that on heavily built up areas is a no-go because it's not going to really do much. So heavy grime with plastics, without plastics. General, if you don't mind hosing off. Small stuff like electrics and tiny little areas. And that's that. And then really honestly, we've come to the bodywork side of things. Rust repair. This stuff, Granville Rust Repair Gel, is fantastic. About £10 a bottle, and I think I've used that much of a bottle. I've used that much on Beatrix. Now, to be fair, if it had been a Mark 1 Focus, I'd have had to have ordered about 10 of these. I'm only joking. This is really good. It converts a stable surface. What I usually do is wire brush any areas back to bare metal if it's appropriate. And I think there's one area on Beatrix I might have missed. I've got to go over that again. But go over the area with Rust Repair Gel. Even if it's back to bare metal, it will seek any remaining bits that you may have missed around the corners, and it will convert it to a stable surface. It is a rust killer. There's plenty of them on the market. They all react the same way. This one, it's a neutralizer and inhibitor based on organic and inorganic acids, and is suitable for treating all ferrous surfaces and will quickly preserve. Oh, I can't read the writing. The writing's rubbed off. No, it won't preserve rust. It will neutralise it. I hope not. Then we go in with the zinc primer. Now this is the stuff I use. It's very widely known on the internet, on eBay, and I buy cans of this for stupid amounts of money. And as you can see, I need some more zinc primer. Couple of sprays. It is best for areas where there is rust or has previously been rust. Then obviously I've used Starlight Silver. I got that on eBay. Whatever paint you can get hold of. Get some clear lacquer as well. Actually, that's one thing I don't have down there, but clear lacquer, okay? And then stone chip. Stone chip, doesn't matter what stone chip you get. Again, I bought 6 of these for about £30, so it works out £5 a can, works out cheaper. If you know you're going to use products, buy them in bulk. As I say, a lot of these products, I've got boxes up there of 6 of them, at least, in bulk. Because that way, at least, it's narrowing the cost down. If you bought these products on a can by can basis, you're costing yourself a fortune. That's about £8-9 on its own, probably £8 on its own if you're lucky. You're costing yourself an awful lot of money by buying single cans. Just buy it in bulk. Plus, and I'm really lucky here, because when I order things, if I'm not in, guaranteed one of my housemates will be in. And he'll just sign for it at the door and just put it round the front door. Honestly, I'm really lucky in that respect, because if I lived in a normal house and I'm not home, God knows what I would do, because I've got nobody else here. So I don't know what I would do. So I think if you're a homeowner and nobody's generally in during the day and you're at work and you've ordered all these resources, you know, all this, order it in bulk, because it's one delivery. Instead of ordering 6 individual cans, let's say if you ordered these in cans of 2, because I know you can get cans of two of these for about £10, right? So that's £5 per can. That's one delivery for 2 cans, but how quickly are you going to go through 2 cans? Ask yourself that question. And if the answer is, I'm going to go through them quite quickly, just get 6 of them. Get a bigger box of 6 of them. Yes, it will cost you more in the short run, but it won't. You'll be saving money in the long run, because you're going to use them. And a can of 6 of these for about £20, you know, that's £4. You're saving at least £2 or £3 on each individual can, and you're saving on deliveries. So once you've got them, it's like if you've ordered, I don't know, let's say 6 of these, 6 of these, 6 of these GT85s. Don't worry about WD-40. Don't buy them in bulk, because I don't recommend it. Just go to Halfords and buy 1 can. 6 of these. Oh no, actually, I'd say 2 of these, or even 1, because that's not something you'll use often. Ignore that. Ignore what I said about that. Brake cleaner. You can get them in the cans. Get them in the 5-litre bottles. Get one 5-litre bottle. It will do you for the whole year. Even if you're into cars, trust me, you won't use that much. 6 of these. 6 of these. If you're doing a lot of painting, 6 of these. Okay, that's it. 1 of these. That will do you for a long time. Make sure it's the 500ml bottle. Okay? All these. Okay? Make sure that you get these in bulk, because once you've got these, you're laughing for at least 12 months, maybe even more than that, depending if you're someone who seldomly works on their cars. This will last you years, and it will cost you pennies. And this is a way of saving money. Okay, you know, we've got a cost of living crisis, all our bills have gone up, all our mortgages, rent, you name it, everything's going up. We have to fight for the pennies. And if you're into motoring and you're into cars, I'm telling you, this is how you save money. Okay, you save money by buying things in bulk. It will save you money in the long run, and that is the end of it. And I hope that this channel provides lots of consumer advice, as much as, you know, fixing and tinkering cars, going to car shows. That is something that I'll be doing a lot very, very soon. And enjoying all things that are cars. But I like to deal with the nitty gritty stuff of car ownership, which is why next month at the NEC Classic Restoration Show, I will be going there with my camera. I love that show because that summarises what my channel is all about. I love classic cars. I love modern classics. There's plenty of it around there. Barn finds, tools. I've got to avoid the tool section at all costs. Honestly, it's the perfect show because this channel is all about the nitty gritty, nasty stuff. Okay, and showing people how to do even simple jobs that they can do by themselves. And it doesn't matter if it's not a Rover 45 or Ford Focus Mark 1 or Peugeot 205. It could be any car, okay? Any car relatively younger than 2010, because any car over that age, I think they're too complicated. I think they're just so complicated now that literally doing an oil filter change is all that really, honestly. Don't even get me started. So this is really, that's what this channel is all about. The nitty gritty stuff, the nasty stuff. You know, getting your fingernails dirty. And I really don't think you can experience true car ownership without being able to work on your own car, even on a very basic level. And do you know something? I'm going to do some videos on really basic stuff. You know, changing oil, changing spark plugs, really simple stuff. It's not hard. And it can be done at home. And I know for a fact that if you go to a garage these days and ask for a service, you know, you're looking at a standard, you know, 150, 180 maybe, depending on what you're doing. If it's oil, spark plugs, air filter, fuel filter, that's a general service. Maybe not your pollen filter. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm not sure about that. But for about £150 to £180, that's what you're looking at. Probably 180 these days. So, yeah. Honestly, and there is one product that I actually have completely forgotten, and it's the best product of all. You really can't be doing without this. These are useless without it. And it's these. I get these in bulk. I bought 6 of them. I did go to Halfords recently and get a couple more, but I bought 6 of them for about 20, I think it was something like £20 or something like that. These are brilliant. Even in Halfords, they're £2.50. They last a long time. One sheet of these Scott Garage towels will last you a long time. A very long time. And without that, I can't clean up messes. Obviously, it does help if you've got... I'll tell you something. If you've got some old clothes in your wardrobe that you haven't worn for years and you think, let's just chuck it and put it in the charity, go to the charity shop. Don't take it to the charity shop. Just get a pair of scissors and cut them up and use them as rags. Just use them as rags. Use what you've got. Don't throw anything away unless you really have to. And that is my advice. So I hope that this is a useful video on what products I have used so far on Beatrix and the Focus as well. And products that I use more and more and products I use less. Obviously, I've got a lot of cleaning products. Maybe I should do a cleaning product video. I mean, obviously, this is a cleaning product as such, but really, honestly, this should be included with all this because this is so good. Anyway, guys, you take care. I will see you very soon. Focus Mark 1 video is a bit short at the moment because all my work has been done on Project Beatrix at the moment. So apologies, you know, there will be videos in the long run, but at the moment my focus is on one car, and I've literally expressed, yeah, I just want to get that car sorted as soon as possible. But I thought I would do a quick little video because a couple of people have asked kind of what products I use and where to get them from, and this is basically the bulk of what I use. Obviously, I use copperies. I use copperies for brake bits in places. I use ceramic grease for the back of brake pads. You've seen that as well. Red rubber grease for sliders and rubber parts that need lubrication, like I've done piston seals. I'm going to be doing that very soon, actually. Spoilers. Silicone grease is good for spark plug leads. At the end of your spark plug leads where your terminals are, you just put a blob of silicone grease on them. Dielectric grease is what it's known as. Just like a little tube. There's some little bits and pieces you need. Obviously, get some clear Gorilla Glue I'd recommend, just as an all-purpose glue. Owlite is a good shout. There's others, like JP Welder. Just have a few epoxy glues lying around. 2-part ones are better. Obviously, fillers, you got P38, P40, just have them lying around just in case of bodywork. What else? I mean, obviously, I've mentioned clear lacquer. I have some satin black paint. That's always a good multi-purpose paint to go to. I've got to order more cans of that, probably in bulk. High coat it, or whatever it's called. That's the brand. I don't think there's much else apart from that. So I shall see you all soon. Take care, guys.